Peace, people. Welcome to the latest episode of Rough Draft. I am your host, Kevin Alberto Sabio, and in this episode, I'll be reading a chapter excerpt from one of my novels. Thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of Rough Draft. We are now in the month of July, and so in the month of July, you have the International African Arts Festival that will be held in Brooklyn, New York. That will be held from July 3rd to July 5th. So, all my peoples in Brooklyn, shout out to you. Shout out to this particular festival. I've actually been able to attend it both as an attendee and as a vendor. I would love to eventually go back one of these days. So, definitely, if you're in the Brooklyn area for that, please come through. Also, is the fact that, okay, for the month of July, you have the Smashwords Summer Winter Sale. So on this digital ebook platform for the entire month from the 1st to the 31st, anybody who's got any books on the Smashware platform, they will be selling at a particular discounted price. I will be participating in it this year. All my books will be 50% off, so they will be selling for 99 cents. So you'll be able to go to Smashwords, download them, look for any of my books. Out of all of my books, 12 of the 14 will be available for 50% off. Chronicles of the Black Fist and Raise Your Brown Black Fist, The Political Shots of an Angry Afro-Latino. Those two titles will be for free. So go to Smashwords and please support. Also, you have the African Diaspora International Film Festival Summer Film Series. So that will be running from July 10th to July 19th. So yeah, so, if you're in the New York area, there's also a virtual component. Please support this particular film festival. A lot of independent, black focused films. Definitely go to their website, check out the dates, check out the ticket times, and also if you want to check the films through their the virtual component of the festival, you could also do that. You also have on July 17th an event called Create Con. It is actually a brand new con. It's developed for artists. So a lot of independent, unknown artists will be able to come through. So artists, comic people, photographers, things like that. They also have a cosplay component, and that will be happening out here in North Carolina in an area called Spring Hope. Again, that runs on July 17th. Also is the fact that you have, the Mama Africa Summer Pop-Up. So that will be on the 18th. So yeah, July 18th. It will be held in Triangle Town Center Mall. So that's out here in Raleigh. So their actual main festival will be in September, which I actually will be a part of. So definitely come out and support that. And also, guess what? Man, support from my hometown team, Raleigh Aces. So the WABA, their season has officially started. It started on the 6th. I know for the Aces, our first home game will be July 11th. But yeah, WABA, Women's American Basketball Association. So if your city has a local team in the WABA, please come out and support that. This is their 10th season. So definitely for me, go Raleigh Aces. Now to the subject matter at hand. Um, I know I'm usually on this platform trying to promote a lot of my books and trying to get y'all to support me if you actually even watch these videos. But I don't know if any of you have actually get the chance to really experience any of my books. So one thing that I wanted to do was to actually start reading certain excerpts of certain books. And so for this particular episode, I've actually decided to do the Chronicles of the Black Fist, which is this is the first book in the Black Fist book series. So I'm going to read at least a chapter, maybe two, depending on how I feel. So hopefully with this experience, hearing one of the chapters or some of the stuff that's in the book, it would probably motivate you to want to go out and support this book, especially since the ebook will be for free through Smashwords. Hopefully, you'll come through and want to support. So this is going to be chapter, I have it marked off here. This is chapter 6 in the book. So this is right before he actually decides to become the costume crime fighter, the Black actually, shortly after his mentee, his Teomari Jabari, ended up getting murdered. And so once he's found out the details, he's gone through his own little mourning period. This is kind of like what instills him to want to become the Black Fist. Okay. Night has fallen in the city. The streets have now become deserted, filled only with the destitute and the criminally inclined. The street lights barely illuminate the area, casting evil shadows and silhouettes about. To be out in the streets of New Washington City after dark was not for the faint of heart. The criminal the criminal element freely roamed around most of the city, sparing only the metro area and most of Douglas Heights. The police presence in those areas were too strong for them to cope with. The rest of the city, however, was their playground. Drug dealers, gangbangers, pimps and prostitutes, stick-up kids, and thieves of all types. This was their domain, the crown jewel of their territory. The streets are quiet, filled only with the sounds of passing traffic and the roar of the elevated subway cars speeding by. Nyeri has made his way to Banneker Heights, to one of the buildings that the organization used to own from the unique network. He looks up at the old worn building, an old garment shop, and a reminiscent smile crosses his face. This was one of the shops that they used to own, one of many businesses. It was a multifaceted operation. They created the uniforms for the members of the UCDF and the organization's other auxiliary units, as well as offering dry cleaning and alteration services. It offered jobs to up and coming and aspiring designers and others looking to get into the garment and fashion industry. The UCDF also provided security jobs for local businesses aside from being a community watch group. Once the lawsuits and legal battles started getting dragged out, they had to close down or sell off some of their businesses to keep the organization from hemorrhaging money. The UCDF had suffered from depleted manpower and never seemed to be able to recover from the riots. You guys used to patrol the streets to protect us from the creeps. Whatever happened to that? Nyeri jimmies the lock and enters inside. He looks around the shop, seeing how everything was left untouched after all of these years. He makes his way towards the back room where all of the uniforms were made and stored. He sees the mannequins all lined up by the wall, some of them with partially completed uniforms still hanging on them. He looks towards the other side of the room, the row of tables with sewing machines on them, lined up like an efficient assembly line. He could almost hear the hum of the machines, feeling the energy of the activity that had once taken place here. You guys used to patrol the streets to protect us from the creeps. Whatever happened to that? He makes his way over to a box sitting on a nearby table. The box is filled with red covers and brimmed crochet crowns, the official headwear of the UCDF. Not every member had short hair, and so to compensate for any individual's hairstyle and length, they relaxed and modified their uniform standards a bit. This was obviously the last box of covers ordered, considering that considering that there was still packing paper in the box. He pulls out one of the crowns, dusts it off, and puts it on. Surprisingly, it fit him perfectly. He looked around at the various materials that they still had in there: rolls of Egyptian linen, wool, cotton, mud cloth, tuba cloth, kente cloth, Ashanti cloth, and polyester, and another box filled with patches and rank insignias. They still had spools of string and yarn all over the place, still untouched, still unused. He saw the various designs that their last batch of designers were working on, one that was sticking out in particular. It was a black sweater vest with the revolutionary fist in the center of it, encased in a white circular background. He goes over to it and takes it into his hands. He shakes the dust off of it and holds it up in front of him. He turns to one of the nearby mirrors and briefly models it. You guys used to patrol the streets to protect us from the creeps. Whatever happened to that? Nyeri was sickened. He hated how the streets of New Washington City have now become these havens of lawlessness. The UCDF was able to help keep the criminal element at bay and challenge those on the force that would try to abuse the power of their badge. Nowadays, the criminal element ran the streets with reckless abandon, with the corrupt and abusive cops not far behind them. The residents were suffering from attack from both within and outside of the community. Try as they might, the activist community wasn't greatly supported or respected. The people had become complacent and apathetic. Something has got to be done about this, he felt. This can no longer be allowed to continue. He looked down at the other garments and uniform pieces that lay about. You guys used to patrol the streets to protect us from the creeps. Whatever happened to that? Somebody's got to do something to make a difference, he thought. Jabari's death shouldn't be in vain. Niere had been talking to some of the street vendors that he knew. Word on the street was Jabari had been associating himself with a local drug crew in Turner Heights. He was small timing it for a hot minute, strictly nickel and dime stuff, mostly being the lookout. The head of the crew started taking notice and tried to see what he was made of. He moved him up to be a soldier, having him run with some of his heavy hitters. Obviously, it was more than what Jabari was ready to handle or could take. He wanted out immediately, but escaping that life wasn't going to be made easy, especially if the other person was playing for keeps. Jabari didn't deserve to die for that. He just wanted his freedom. These dealers and their fellow criminals callously do whatever they please, arrogantly believing that there were no consequences for them to suffer. Not this time, he growls to himself. Not anymore. This time, they'll be held accountable for their actions. This time, they'll be made to pay for every wrong that they've ever committed against the community, against the residents, against their own people. No longer will this savagery no longer will this savagery be accepted or continued. This time, the community will fight back, even if it's only by one person. He looks around the room, seeing the revolutionary colors adorning the walls of the shop. He takes a long look at the fist on the sweater vest in his hands. People nowadays laugh at the fist, disrespect the colors, he scoffs. No more. The fist will rise again. He looks at himself in the mirror and then nods. One more step to make, and then it'll be time for the fist to rise. So, hopefully this has encouraged you to want to buy a copy of the Chronicles of the Black Fist, whether you want to buy the print copy or if you want to digitally download it, whether through Smashers, where it's currently free, or any of the other ebook platforms that's available on. So, I'm glad that you liked this. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And definitely, if you want a copy of any more of my books, they're available in paperback format. And you can go to these outlets if you want to buy the physical copy of my books, which is Author House, Outskirts Press, Create Space, Amazon.com, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, and Bookshop.org. My books are also available in ebook format, so if you like to digitally download my books, especially now, they are available through these channels, which is Kindle, Nook, Kobo, Apple Books, Everand, Smashwords, Fable, Bookshop.org, and internationally through Viblio, Tolino, and Gardeners. Uh, my ebooks are also available for libraries. So if you'd like to go to the library and digitally download my books, um, hopefully your library has an account with one of the distributors, which is Overdrive, Hoopla, Cloud Library, and internationally through Viblio Libraries and BioBox for the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Um, if you would like to buy any of my clothes, Brown Black Fist gear is available. Especially now, I actually have a few sales going on. We have a sale at the beginning of the month from the 3rd to the 5th. All products will be available for 25% off. We will have a secondary sale from the 13th to the 17th. So all products will be available at 20% off. And then we will have another sale towards the end of the month from the 24th to the 27th. You can go to https colon / brown black fist gear.myspreadshop.com. If you are watching this on YouTube, you know what you need to do. Please like the video. Definitely leave a comment. I would love to hear your feedback. Definitely subscribe to the channel and press the notification button when you subscribe. And please press the all button of the notification button. That way you get all the alerts whether I post something in the community section or when I upload a new video. So thank you for tuning into this latest episode of Rough Draft. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm hoping to do a few more excerpts from some of my other books. So, as I always say, keep the fist raised. I am always on my literary grind, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.